Hi guys, welcome to day 42 of the 90-day breakthrough challenge. We are almost halfway through this journey. The 90-day breakthrough challenge is a longer than usual challenge so that we give ourselves enough time to start pursuing the goals we want, clarify the goals, start taking action, sometimes fall off the track and get back on until it becomes our new normal. As one of the participants of this challenge has said before, this is how we make the new normal the normal. We create a new edition, we create a foundation on which we will build, especially the next year, on a very, very new and different foundation. We started this week by speaking about necessity. In other words, which is that hidden why? The hidden motivation, the truly authentic and fundamental motivation that will keep you on track regardless of what you face. And sometimes thinking about the end usually gives you a clarity from the beginning and a commitment that sometimes is difficult for you to find. And so the first exercise that we had shared is let's imagine it's your birthday. You are just turning 65. People have gathered and they are about to tell stories about how you lived, the kind of impact you've had, the legacy you've built. And that's what we will share today. So that was the first exercise, and I'm going to just call around to some of you. Let's the people on Zoom. Let's see what what are some of the stories that came up. So the first question was write out what somebody from your family is likely to say. So let's start off with Elena. So somebody from your family, tell us who that person is and read out loud for us just one of the paragraphs.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for gathering here today to celebrate this birthday. Elena has a family in her heart. This is a speech from my dad.
Oh, that's yeah. I don't yeah, Elena, for some reason your voice flayed in and out.
What about now?
Yes, it's sound just continue sound with clearer right now. Uh you're muted, Elena.
Okay, this is a speech by my dad. Um, Let me start once again.
Okay.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for gathering here to celebrate Eleanor's 65th birthday. Eleanor holds family close to her heart. She's intentional about her critical relationships in her life. She has held together our family through the peaks and the dips of life and held us all accountable. Eleanor keeps her word and she has excelled in whatever she has set her mind to. She's a positive member of the society, adding value to all those she encounters. She's kind. She gives back to the less fortunate in equal measure. She knows she's known for empowering everyone around her. She's keen on teaching people problem solving skills and how to make opportunities out of problems. Eleanor has been a source of transformation for many within the family and also living as a role model and mentor to many. She has taught me how to to create systems that work towards the betterment of my life. She is unafraid to explore new trails and countries with stories of adventures for days. On this day, I wish Elena the best as she continues her life and lives towards vitality.
Wow. Yeah. All I will do is ask what came to your mind? What did it feel like, that process of thinking about this and putting it down?
Initially, I struggled, but what gave me momentum
Yeah.
is what vision do I want people to perceive me,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
just frame it from the point of view of somebody else who is close to me, like my dad or
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
best friend. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, so it's interesting that as we go along, because remember initially the first day we were doing the vision, adventure was a very strong component of uh of what you would, it was a very strong element in your vision adventure. But right now I hear impact, 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 which means as we go along, it becomes clearer, yeah, whether it's just one ingredient or it's combination of ingredients and which of those ingredients are stronger. I hope that by starting off with this fast exercise, that there are elements of your vision, of your desires that begin to come to the surface, because now you are detaching yourself from being the one creating this, but to imagining, because when we imagine, we get permission to actually create something that we couldn't consciously uh, create, especially when we are the ones trying to create it. Let's hear what other people came up with. Thank you. It's just beautiful. It's beautiful. That's the kind of speech that any of us would be really, really excited to hear at 65, especially when it comes from somebody who knows you closely. So thank you, Elena. Diba, what did you come up with? Who is the person and what, and read to us aloud what they wrote.
Yes, hello, can you hear me? My network is not very good today.
That's okay.
Yes, so this is a speech by my daughter at my 65th birthday, my rural home in Moyale.
Yeah.
My father is a renowned international researcher and infectious disease specialist. But to me, he's my dad, the man who is always at hand to help and support a fellow human being. He lives to serve and give back to his community. He's a provider who doesn't dictate how he wants you to live, but enables and supports you to live the best life you could live. He doesn't want me and my brother to be like him. He wants us to be better than him.
Wow.
So that was my first paragraph.
Wow.
You are able to hear me?
Yes, yes. Oh, it's just beautiful. What thoughts came to your mind? Thoughts, emotions. What was that experience of writing the paragraph like?
Yeah, I'm just imagining that myself seated maybe at the back, listening to my daughter saying those words about me. I could just imagine myself feeling contented, living to the fullest,
Yeah.
just be proud. Yeah, it just gave me this surge in satisfaction and energy.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it was not easy to come up with this. I had to spend some time on it. Yeah, but yeah, that's what the kind of emotion it invoked in me.
Thank you,
Over.
Diba. Thank you so much. So, guys, the reason we are doing this, and Diba, you've just expressed it in a more powerful way than I could ever have put it, that invoking emotions, because we have said during earlier sessions of this series that the emotion is free and available right now. The emotion is free and it's available right now. The emotion is the fuel I need right now to be effective in what I am doing. I may not be able to actualize that reality today, but if I make that reality so vivid that I can almost touch it, then I will start experiencing those emotions today. So that when I'm making decisions, let's say I come across obstacles, the obstacles don't stop me, and they don't stop me because I know where I am going. Where am I going? 65, to a room where I am surrounded by people I love, and these are the stories I'm hearing. So that this becomes the why, this becomes the higher reason why it doesn't matter what obstacles come my way, I am going to find a way. As long as the goal is important, you will find a way. I don't know whether I've said this before. This is one of those aphorisms that I hold dear to my heart, that your why will find your way. Your why will find your way. Sometimes we try to find a way so that we can get to a why. when it's supposed to be the other way around. Your why will find your way. If if a family member needed you right now within the next 3 hours in a town outside Nairobi or outside wherever you are, and you need to get there, you will find the way. It might be raining, but you will drive through the rain. There might not be any public vehicles. You will get out and you can't find a taxi. You will hire a bus all by yourself. Your why will find the way, and this is what we are trying to do. So thank you, Elena and Diba. Let's hear from James. Who is the person? And please read to us one of the paragraphs that you wrote.
Okay. Thank you. So the person is my mom, and this is the speech she's giving at my 65th birthday. So he is the epitome of discipline, organization, learning, and application. This now old man has been so persistent for as long as I can remember. He has always been keen on focusing his attention and doubling down on the task he has. He's been a consistent learner, never letting anything pass him. And I think that is how he has managed to remain relevant. I can see no better person than him when it comes to prioritizing. When he focuses his attention, it cannot be shifted. He knew what he wanted and exactly what it would take to achieve it. He put in the work relentlessly, and he has accomplished so much so far. He has a wonderful family, and he is for his children what I would have wanted to be for him, a best friend. So that's my first paragraph.
Wow. You guys are just blowing my mind away. Oh, I envy you that experience of doing this exercise. This is one of those exercises I make sure I do every year. And from the time I started doing it, it's changed everything. Oh, you have done something that I was going to recommend for everyone, that make sure that a lot of the speech focuses on things that you as a person have control over. And that's one of the things that has come out very strongly in your speech, James, that discipline, control, prioritization, use of your time, things that are in your control, and things which when you say it, I can imagine the other person looking at you and seeing them. I hope that makes sense. If the other person had a video to record you, they just came, put in a video there, recorded you and went away. Then after 3-4 weeks, they came and watched the video, and now they're describing what they see. They will end up describing your behavior, and it's your behavior around components of your life that you have total control over. What's your time management? Do you show up? How much time do you spend on your priorities, whether it's learning or physical health, or with the relationships that are important to you, your family? So it's very important to make sure that a lot of what you end up being inspired about, because we will eventually put all this together as something that you return to and read, return to and read, return to and rewrite, so that you keep this. This is going to be one of those things that you will keep with you the whole of 2021, so that at the end of every week when you reflect, you are finished reflecting, this is what the final thing you read through, to keep you on track, knowing that this is the vision I had. If it changes, you keep editing it, but otherwise, this is the vision I have for 65. So make sure, to the extent you can, that behaviors that you have total control over are a major part, because that is where you have the most room to influence what is going to happen. So thank you, James. Let's now hear from Judith. Judith, who is the person, and give us one of the paragraphs.
Okay, so this is a speech from my brother on my 65th birthday. So he's reading it now. Okay, Judith has been an exemplary person. She keeps herself organized and always has an objective that she's pursuing. I've seen her grow to be the person that we all look up to. And when faced with difficult decisions, she's always the person who will come up with ideas to mitigate the situation. She's a problem solver in our home and a voice of reason. My sister is a resilient person and she never gives up on her goals. She's a person to look up to, and we as a family always admire her growth and consistent pursuit towards for excellence. She adores her family and as always has time for them. She always gets back to you, even if she was busy. Spiritually, I've seen my sister grow and her faith amazes me. Through her, we are inspired to remain hopeful, and as we can always see her faith in action. She seemed timid at times, but always has courage to stand for the truth. Thank you so much, my sister, for being there for us and always setting up an example, even if you are our last born. We love you. I read the entire speech because I felt like it should flow.
Tell me about the experience. That's just beautiful.
Did you ask something?
Yes. Your reflection around it.
Okay.
Can't wait for the reflection. Go. Yes.
So when I wrote this speech, these are things I see them in myself.
Yeah.
But at the same time, there are things I'm still pursuing, and like it gave me that opportunity to see myself being that person that I want to be on that 65th birthday, and already reflecting on the things that I'm already working on and I am currently. So it's just a matter of I need to grow now to reach that birthday speech.
Yeah. Oh. Wow. I love it. I love every word of that. And so this is what happened, Judith, when you started reading, right? Mm-hmm. You're reading maybe the first 2 to 3 sentences, but I'm sure even you yourself felt there's a point where you transitioned, and I think you started saying those words in a way that you can't be detached from them, and I could feel your heart in in the words as you're reading them. And I can tell from here, I wasn't there from here, that this is one of those exercises you did and you walked away from there and these words can't get out of your head. This is the main reason why we are doing this. So guys, why didn't I bring this at the beginning? Because the why is so important that we should start with why. Why didn't I bring it at the beginning? It's because at the beginning, for some of us, our goals were in the fridge. For some of us, our goals were in the freezer. And by goals, I mean the actual goals. Forget about the daily priorities that are driven by opportunities and deadlines. The actual goals, we have them, but they're in the freezer. They have to be thawed. You have to get them out. That's number one. Number two, you have to have tested yourself to see whether you can actually be consistent. I'm so proud of everyone who has stayed on this challenge from the beginning to now. Like you have made a consistent effort to show up every day. Even if all you did was just show up, by day 30, your mind will be thinking about your life very differently. But beyond that, you are actually doing the work. This is heading in a direction. You will remember for the rest of your life what we will accomplish in these 90 days. If you do the work, you will remember. Judith, I love what you said, that the things you end up saying are things that are within you, but when you write out in the first person, sometimes it's difficult for you to allow them to come out, right? And the things that you're saying are part of you because this is your true definition of success. None of you who have shared so far have said that she had the biggest car. Judith built the biggest house. Her house had the best furniture. She had the most amazing shoes. I haven't heard any of you say anything to that regard. Diba, I've not heard you say that my father was renowned in the village for having the biggest truck and he bought the biggest music system. None of those things are showing up because each of us right now are reaching inside and getting in touch with our true definition of success. This is the true definition of success. So that if this manifests, we won't just be overjoyed, we will be fulfilled, we will be actualized if this came to pass. The beauty is that the more clear this is, the more compelling it becomes. And once it's so crystal clear, we can start enjoying the emotion of that outcome today, so that that emotion becomes a fuel to take us there. You guys are inspiring me. You have no idea. Let's hear from Dungi. Dungi, who is the person from your family, and give us the speech.
Okay. Good day to everyone. I think for me, I'm kind of different. Yeah. Because I've been listening to the others who have read, and for me, when you gave out this exercise, yeah, I thought about it, but the problem is I couldn't bring myself to write it. I don't know why. I think I've been using my logical reasoning so much. Yeah. Because for me, I think I want something to be an ipso facto true, something that when I look at 65, I look at it in the process of I want the consequences and actions over those years from now to 65 be a resultant effect to who I will be in 65, rather than or who people will see me at 65, rather than something that is being brought about by a previous action. I don't know if I'm thinking like a physicist right now, or physicists are the people who are hell-bent on define logic and questioning everything. I don't know. I've been having a hard time just letting things flow.
So you haven't managed to do it
No,
yet?
it's something I've been thinking about, like I said, yeah. But to write it is the problem, or just to allow those thoughts to to pass through, yeah? Because
I think are you playing a game? Do you have a
no,
game software playing or something in the background?
no, it's not a game software. It's a trading platform that is
Okay.
acting up.
Okay, that's fine. That's
Yeah,
okay. I'm hearing like
yeah, those
yes.
are trades bound.
Yeah. No, that's fine. But I will tell you something, Ndungi. I will tell you.
I don't know if it's attention or something. I don't know. Yeah.
I will tell you something that I've been through. If I haven't been through this journey, it would be harder for me to even say this. And I will say this with as much tenderness as I can. It's very easy to get stuck because of letting the intellectual mind take too much room, right? Yeah, so if you can do the exercise, that's otherwise there is a lot of what we are covering which will just be intellectual knowledge. This is what we are trying to do, is to cross over from the intellectual knowledge we are sharing in class to making it real, making it practical. And it can feel vulnerable when you touch into some of these softer parts. It feels vulnerable, but these softer parts are usually more resilient and stronger than the intellectual parts, right? Let's hear from apart from Rumbi, who has joined us, we've heard from Diba, Elena, James. All right, so Rumbi, we did this exercise yesterday. We started it the previous day where we were just sharing what we may have written. And the question was, you are 65, it's your birthday, people are gathered, and on that day we decided, let's write what we would want to hear from a family member about us on that day. Oh, Brainy, we haven't heard from you. So let's hear from Rumbi in the meantime, then we come back to Brainy. I don't know how I sorry.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Thank you, Dr. Job. So for me, I wrote, it's my sister who's writing about me. So Rumbadzai Mokori is a go-getter. She is self-motivated. She has a big heart. She is compassionate and is one who is a risk taker. She has grown over the years and is one person who has played a role in bringing our family together and helping us become greater. Although at
Sorry, Rumbi, your voice strayed off.
she and we would also make if she communicates a bit more and is more involved in our day-to-day lives. But in general, Rumbi has managed to make a big impact in the lives of many people. But we would think she needs to play a big role as well as siblings.
Thank you, Rumbi. Unfortunately, it traded off some part in the middle.
Okay.
Can give it another go. Hopefully, it doesn't drop off this time around.
Okay. So this is from my sister, my younger sister. She's the one who is saying something about me. She's saying Rumbidzai Mukori is a go-getter. She is self-motivated, has a big heart. She is compassionate and is one who is a risk taker. She has grown over the years and she is one person who has played a role in bringing our family together and helping us become greater. She loves her family, her children, and we see the affection that is there even in their home. They have a very welcoming and a very open, they embrace different people. She is also someone who I look up to and has been a mentor to me, although she would need to be more of a leader to us and help give us more guidance in relation to how we can become better people as siblings.
Yeah, thank you. This time around, we've gotten it very clearly from beginning to end. Thank you so much for sharing that, and it's just beautiful. It's beautiful. It tells you, it helps you touch base, and the more you come back to it, the clearer it becomes. It helps you touch base with what is really important, what you would want to see happen at the end, where you would want to eventually get to. I would only caution you, if you can eliminate any of the cautionary words like but or however, because our brain, when the brain reads it, it has a tendency to remember everything after however or but, and almost discount whatever comes before it. But keep it as positive as you can throughout. Thank you, Rumbi, for sharing that. Brainy, let's come to you.
All right. Thank you. So my elder sister Pauline is giving a speech on my 65th birthday, which is on Tuesday on 6th June of 2062.
Wow.
And here she gets started. So before I get started here, I just want to thank you all for rearranging your schedule to come celebrate with my sister Brenny. My sister Bresh has been the most persistent, loving, and intelligent kid I've ever known since childhood. I remember her working hard every day, when she was in college at school, to make sure all her dreams came true. There's so much that I learned from her. She changed the whole story of the family. She chased her dreams, made them come true. It's through her that I now live a happy life with my family from a loving and peaceful and spiritual place. She was younger than me, but this kid is a dream come true. She walked her talk. She fought all her fights. She learned to grow and heal. And now she lives a very happy and holistic life with her partner and their two lovely kids. And on behalf of my family, I just want to say, to tell you I love you, and Mom is always proud of you wherever she is. That's all.
Wow, it's always amazing when you, because I've done this with some of my siblings, and it led me to start viewing some of my siblings differently from just from putting myself in their shoes and thinking about what they may end up seeing or experiencing as a result of the life we share together. So what's your reflection, Brainy? We'll go back to Rumbi. We didn't do your reflection, Rumbi. What was your reflection? What was the experience like? What emotions came up?
My emotion was actually, I did this, was it yesterday? Yeah, I think it was yesterday.
Yeah.
And it was like a very joyful moment where you just get yourself in that, stay in that place and realize like you've been in so much, like you sleep on yourself sometime, but you so much, like you have so much influence to people around you that you might not even be able to see. But there's so much like potential in myself or, other people.
Yeah.
And it just made me feel so happy writing it. I wish I could go on like writing about it, but then I just had to stop there.
That's amazing. And you don't need to hold it back. Let's hear Rumbi's reflection, then I will give you some pointers I think are extremely important. So Rumbi, you didn't share with us, what did it feel like when you did this, when did you do this exercise, and how did it feel like?
Okay, so I did the exercise this morning and it felt invigorating. I think it was also eye-opening as well, and also just the realization like of the power of influence that I do have as I'm the oldest in the family, and how I can actually be able to mold and to help them to become their best.
Yeah.
And it also encouraged me as well to start taking some of those things into action, like communicating regularly with my siblings, because usually I would say I'm the oldest, so the younger ones, they should be checking up on the big sis. But I'm realizing that if I want them to be able to actually have something positive to say about me, or if I want to set that pace for them, then I'm going to have to step it up. I'm going to have to show and lead them how they can actually be able to communicate the importance of the whole, like being together and united. So it was an eye-opener for me, and also a chance for me to take an action step.
That's right. Wow. Thank you so much. Thank you everyone for sharing your reflections and for sharing what you came up with. I wanted to point out two things. Number one is it's when you write it from somebody else's voice, the one thing that can easily happen sometimes, and this applies to everyone, for you to look through your goals, what can happen sometimes is that all your shoulds in terms of things that you feel like I have to do to be loved more can show up and become part of that story. So I'm pointing that out for you to be careful, to make sure that the output doesn't end up being about what other people need for them to love you more, for them to cherish you more. Rather, the aim is for you to create for yourself a more compelling realization that everything you are living now has an eventual outcome. That eventual outcome includes the stories that will be told. I hope that's clear. For example, I'm a firstborn in a family, and one of the things that I have had to retrain some of my siblings is that I am a firstborn, but that doesn't mean that I carry all your burdens. I help you carry your burdens. I don't carry them for you. So when I'm writing and I'm using the voice of one of my siblings, I can end up using that voice to make it necessary for me to carry their burdens. It can end up being Job has helped us carry our burdens, instead of it being Job has supported us as we created our own pathway, as we pursued our own goals. I hope that distinction is clearer, so that you are helping, you are making a difference, but it's not becoming a burden that distracts you from living authentically. So for example, maybe some of the sentences that will occur or appear initially would be that Job has the ability to say no, and that is a positive thing. You have the ability to say no because that way you are able to preserve the space you need to live the life you want. You developed the spine to enforce your boundaries. So the more you enforce your boundaries, the more room, emotional room, physical room, intellectual room you preserved for you to be more effective and eventually have an impact. Because sometimes the things you say no to are the things people want now. And the more time and energy and attention you preserve, the more impact you have in the things they need eventually. So that their ultimate right now does not imprison you and keep you from impacting their ultimate later. Their immediate needs, the immediate pressures around you do not become the prison. So be careful to not end up with statements in the final product that are merely hooks onto the subconscious need that you and I can sometimes have to say yes to everything that is presented to us. The second thing I wanted to say is that as we proceed, it's for you to end up whittling this down to the most important 5 things, the 5 most important things that you would want people from your family to say. And so the assignment is to do another paragraph from family, to do another paragraph from someone else. If you did a paragraph from a parent, do with a sibling. If you did it from one of your younger sisters, maybe to do it with your older sister, or to do it with a close cousin or close auntie, somebody whom you regard as intimate family. If you have a partner, maybe do it with your partner. If you did it with one of your children, you could do it with your spouse, whether it's husband or wife. So do it. So the next part is do it with another member of the family. Eventually, we will have maybe 2 or 3 from family, and then you will narrow down to the top 5 things you would want to hear from your family. And here is what is going to happen. Those things are eventually, the top 5 things, those things are eventually going to be attributes that you have developed into. The attributes, maybe it's courage, maybe it's your consistency or reliability. It's going to boil down to attributes you have developed. And those attributes are going to have to do with something to do with your courage and your communication. But just let it flow, and eventually you will see what comes up. Your courage and your communication. And by courage is how you live, how you create, how you live in terms of how you love, how you commit and show up and fight for other people. But in terms of communication, how your life communicates to them. What kind of discipline do you communicate? What kind of clarity do you communicate? What kind of reliability and consistency do you communicate to them? But keep it going, and you from just witnessing your process, I'm going to learn another way of doing this that will enrich what I keep doing with myself. So that was the first part, and then I gave you yesterday the second. So day 1 will remain to be about family. Day 1 is family. So you started with one member of the family, add another member of the family, and write out a paragraph or 2 of what they would say. Then yesterday I asked you to do this exercise with a friend. Use a friend's voice. I hope you did that. And then now today, I would like you to do it with about a co-worker. A co-worker. I prefer that you don't do it with somebody you are with in school. That can have its value, but a co-worker could be a co-worker, somebody with whom you have been engaged in a substantive project. And of course, preferably somebody you respect. And I always strongly recommend you use somebody you have positive emotions towards. so that you don't try to use their writing to convince them that you are worthy of respect. That it's don't use somebody that you already have positive emotions with. We don't have room to start sorting out the relationship fast. We want to go ahead and get the outcome. So to reiterate, day one, you did one member of your family, add another member of your family. Then day two, yesterday, you did with a friend. Go through it again, and you could even rewrite it. And then, so day three today, pick somebody you have worked on a substantive project with, maybe a colleague at work or somebody you worked on something with, and write all those together. So I wanted to give you a few pointers. We are speaking about necessity. So necessity is when we speak about necessity, we're essentially speaking about the power of why. If you look at the work you have done, and Ndungi, I would like to recommend strongly, could you please sit down and write your stories. Don't allow your intellectual mind to come in the way. So when you look at what we've been doing, necessity, the power of why, this helps us connect to a higher purpose. So in which ways does the why, the power of why, shape your life? The ways in which power of why. So I will give you 5 ways. I have 10 written down, but I just want to give you 5 that I think are the most influential for you to think about. The first one is your why determines your focus. Your why determines your focus. And if you look at the example that you wrote down, the exercises that you have done so far, if getting to that kind of 65 becomes your why, then automatically you have to get focused in that area. You heard what Rumbidzai said, that communication is one of the things that came up when she was writing this. So the fact that she needs to take charge of of communication. So because that's what she wants at 65, automatically right now, her why is going to shape her focus. So the question we are asking ourselves is, what is my why? What is my higher level why? And that why is going to shape our focus. It will determine what you focus on, what you invest your energy on, your time, your attention. It will determine what you prioritize. It will determine what you create room for, room in terms of your time, room in terms of your daily commitments. It will determine whom you allow into your space, so that everybody that comes in is contributing. Everything that comes in is contributing. Every interaction that comes in is contributing to your eventual why. The second way that your why affects you or influences you is that a clear why gives you confidence. A clear why gives you confidence. If you have already seen the story at 65, and you know what will be done what will be said at 65, if you stay confident and consistent, then it doesn't matter what everybody else says around you. People can gossip about you, people can backbite you, people can try to obstruct you. They will obstruct you and you say, you're obstructing me on something that is not core to my journey. What is core to my journey is my consistency, it's my discipline, it's my clarity, it's my vision. And those I have total control over. I know why I am doing what I am doing. It gives you confidence in the face of obstacles. It gives you confidence in the face of your naysayers. It gives you confidence in the face of despair and desperation. It gives you confidence even in the face of uncertainty. When you have a clear why, it empowers you with confidence. It gives you room to experiment, to take risks, because you know where you are going. You know where you are going, but you also know what it will feel like, because you have already had a taste. Can you imagine if you've had that kind of taste today, right? What it will feel like 10 years from today, when you look at the journey you've taken and you are like, my goodness, I have already made so much progress towards the vision I saw of myself 10 years ago. In the last 10 years, I have moved so much closer to my vision at 65. It gives you amazing confidence. A powerful why, a clear why compounds your impact and contribution. It compounds your impact and your contribution. Why does it compound your impact? When you act with a clear why, when your efforts and your energy and are aligned with a clear why, you are likely to be consistent. Because compounding, remember compounding, when you think of compound interest, it's all about the long term. So what is it that you do in the long term? If your why is clear, you end up doing the same things, even if they are tiny things, you do them over and over, over and over, and they end up piling on top of each other. If your why is that you will have ended up becoming an amazing writer, it means you would have been writing daily for 10, 15 years. And what ends up happening eventually? You become an excellent writer. And that's because those little efforts every day, they compound. Those contributions you're making every day, contributing here by inspiring this person, then again, inspiring them again, inspiring them again. It's tiny little inputs, but it helps you to compound them so that eventually what you end up with is bigger than the sum of the totals. And that's because every time you are building this wall, you aren't just moving the bricks around. Every time you are building this wall, you are placing bricks on top of the array that you had already put up. You had already laid the first, second, third, fourth, fifth, sixth. You keep doing it, and eventually it compounds. The fourth way a powerful why affects you is that your why generates tenacity and resilience. Your why generates tenacity and resilience. Tenacity in the face of the project, tenacity during execution, and resilience in the face of obstacles. You need resilience to bounce back. You need tenacity to be consistent in the moment. A clear why enables you to be tenacious and resilient. And those are attributes we need on an ongoing basis. The more tenacious we become, the more resilient we become, the more predictable we are in terms of it doesn't matter whether there is rain or sunshine or storms, he is going to show up or she is going to show up. Even if we run out of money, it doesn't mean we stop being disciplined. Even when the pandemic comes about, it doesn't mean that now we start sleeping in and now we are watching TV 100% or spending all our time on social media. That is what a powerful why can do you. It helps you determine your focus. It compounds your contribution. It helps you generate tenacity. Oh yes, this is a great one. Your why gives you stability in chaos. Your why gives you stability in chaos. Oh, that is probably one of the most important reasons for you to have a why. I am sure you have seen people lose somebody important to their life. Maybe it's their fiance or wife or a child or a parent, and they break apart, they fall apart. The reason is that it's possible beyond just human love, it's possible that this person's life was fused with this other person's life. And I believe there is never a time when fusion with another person's life is a good thing. Never. Maybe it's too strong a word to use, but that's what I believe. That my life is so fused with somebody else that if they die, my life falls apart. At the end of the day, it's not healthy, because the reality is that we are each individual lives. We love each other. We have the need for one another, but at the end of the day, we are each individual lives. When you see somebody rebound quickly and in a healthy way, while still grieving the loss they have had, it always has to do with what is at the center of their life, what is the core. That means what is their life wound around? when we have a strong why, no matter what amount of chaos we come into, we still find the stability to rebound and also to go forward. People who have a strong purpose, they deal with loss much better than people who don't. If you have a high purpose and you have lived with purpose, for, say for the next 10 years, even if it's somebody you love, if you truly loved that person, it means they have been part of your agenda. So that if you are grieving them, you are grieving them for the separation, but you also have a lot to celebrate. But if you are grieving them only for the separation, especially because they were an important part of your life and you did not invest in it, you're not just grieving. You're also doing what we call guilting, where you are regretting because of the guilt that remains. Oh, this person was part of my life, but I never invested in this relationship. I never created the room to value them as I should have valued them. Your why gives you stability in the face of chaos, because all of us are going to face challenges at one point or another. Unfortunately, some of us are going to lose a loved one at the worst possible time. Some of us, unfortunately, are going to have somebody we know, or maybe ourselves, diagnosed with a serious disease at some point in our lives. There are turbulences and storms that will sometimes show up in some part of our lives. If we don't have a high enough why, we would not have the foundation we need to be stable in the face of chaos. The stronger your why, the stronger my why, the more likely the scenario that when this chaos show up, we will be able to deal with it more healthily and positively than if we don't have a strong why. I'm going to leave you with those. Maybe let me just add you one. I have, and these are things that I keep thinking about and sometimes looking at my life and figuring out, is this really true? Let me give you this one as the last one. Your why amplifies your skills and talents. Your why amplifies, in fact, add it, make it, your why amplifies your strengths, skills and talents. Your why amplifies your strengths, your skills, and your talents. And that is so true. Your why, my why, my commitment to become a speaker, it not only helped me overcome the obstacle of stuttering, but it amplifies my ability to think through stuff. It amplified my ability to write. It has amplified my ability to create content in advance without needing to read other people's books, where I would sit down with a concept and think through it and ask myself questions. In which ways have I observed this in other people? In which ways have I observed this in myself? In which ways can this apply to my life today, so that I commit to implementing some part of it before I go out and teach it? Your why will help you amplify these resources you have, your strengths, your skills, and your talent. If you have a talent in writing and your why becomes you want to become a great writer, then it's going to align you to using this skill more, and it will amplify that skill. If your why is to become a great parent, a great father, or a great mother, your ability to make your children feel valued is a strength. Is a strength that they will remember. But because it's part of your long-term why, it's going to show up more frequently. It's going to show up more authentically, more endearingly to the people to whom it's directed. So your why will optimize your strengths, your skills, and your talents. This is why we are speaking about necessity. Necessity, remember, necessity is all about why. What is this compelling why that will keep you consistent no matter what obstacles you come across? What is this why that will help you get over rejection when it comes your way, so that you keep moving forward, no matter what people say, no matter what obstacles they place in your way? That is what we are speaking about. And that's why we are pursuing this. We are pursuing a higher level of living. we are pursuing breakthrough to face and overcome whatever challenges come our way and keep moving forward. So that will be it for today. Go ahead and do the exercises that we've tabled. I think from tomorrow you will begin to see, and of course, please remember to think about these whys and see in which ways they apply to you. So for example, if you think about my why will amplify my strengths and specify, what kind of strengths are likely to be amplified by the vision you are seeing for yourself later. So do the assignment, and I look forward to see you tomorrow because we are already at past. We'd like to finish today on time. Please share, everyone, please share your reflection in the WhatsApp group. That would be it from me today. My name is Dr. Job Mogire from the House of Mastery. Continue living with passion.